Let's do amplitude and midline. Amplitude again is how high the graph is from the middle to the top or the middle to the bottom, not the whole height. And the midline is literally the line in the middle. So let's talk about how to transform sine and cosine for different midlines and amplitudes. This is not new, but when we have amplitude, that's the A value. It's our stretch. It actually means what it says now. A is for amplitude. And then our midline K is if I move that graph up or down. And as normal, a positive K would move it up. A negative K would move it down. So +3 is up 3, -5 is down 5. And then just as a reminder from the last video, our standard amplitude is 1, and our standard K value or our midline is at y equals 0. So let's do some examples. So here's our first example. Y equals sine of x minus 3. I don't have any new amplitude, so my amplitude is going to stay 1 because there's no number in front here. But we are going to shift the graph down. So our new K is that, or our new midline is at y equals -3. Should I be writing midline? Yeah, I probably should. Hold on, let me fix all of this. There we go. So much better. Okay, so our amplitude's 1, our midline's at y equals -3, and the period is 2 pi. Now it's going to be 2 pi until it's not 2 pi anymore, which is next lesson, not this lesson. So for now, it's always going to be 2 pi, and we're going to be okay with that. Okay, let's graph it. So I need a graph that at least is down -3 and goes up 1 and down 1. So I need to go -4. And then at least goes until 2 pi for sure. Let's do our 4 marks as 2 pi like normal. Okay, there we go. So if our amplitude is 1, that means that from the midline, which I should actually draw first, at -3, this is my midline, my graph's going to go up 1 and down 1 from that midline. So that kind of makes our little top and bottom. So our sine function, remember, starts at 0, and it's going to end at 0. Here's how I do the sine function. If it's 0, 0, it's going to be 0 in the middle, and it's going to be 1 more up and 1 more down in the middle of those two. So that's my 5 points that makes my sine curve. And then I just repeat the process. So I went up, down, down, up, down, down. And then this way it would be down, middle, up. So this makes my beautiful curvy snake that makes up my sine function. Let me draw in where the amplitude is. So amplitude is from the midline up or the midline down. That's my amplitude. It makes like a DNA strand. All right, let's do a couple more because that was confusing, I can tell. And he's gonna hurt me. I forgot the y equals. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I can't write it at the end because it'll confuse people later, so I'm just gonna not put it. Okay, so we need the amplitude, midline, and period. Now, period we already know. It's not going to change 2 pi. Not going to change until next time. So our amplitude here is 4 because of the 4 in front of the cosine. And our midline is going to be at y equals 2. So if the middle's at 2, my highest height is going to be 6. That's 4 more. And our lowest low is going to be -2, 4 less. So let's do a graph that includes those numbers on the y-axis like this. And then again, every 4 is going to be a 2 pi because I don't want to. Other teachers teach other kids how to reformat this so that way it always looks like the same curve. I don't like that as much. It's fine. I mean, I'm not them. All right, so I'm going to be up at 2. Okay, that's my y or my midline, and then my highest height is going to be 4 more than that. Now, remember that while sine started at the midline and went up, cosine starts at the top and comes down. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So here's my amplitude. That's where my cosine is going to start, is up at 4. And then at 2 pi, it's going to be at 4 again because that's a full period. So in the middle of these two, it's going to be at the very bottom. And then between these, it's going to be at the midline. So that's how I get my 5 points for cosine. Top, top, middle is the bottom, and then middle of those two, middle of these two is that center, and then the middle of those two is that center. I know, it's still, I haven't quite figured out how to explain this virtually yet, and I've taught this twice now virtually because we're hitting a year of virtual education. Okay, so that makes my zigzag, and then I just connect it with a curve. Because these graphs are not pointy, they are curvy. We stand curvy graphs. Yes, we do. So that's that. And then I'm just going to highlight the other part of the amplitude here is also 4. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do this one. So this one has a negative in front. What the heck does that mean? The funny thing is that it doesn't actually change anything about this information over here. All it changes is that it's going to flip the graph over like it normally does, like negatives in front have done all trimester, right? So when I have this, it's still an amplitude of 1. Oops, that's supposed to be pink. And then the midline is up at 4, so it's at y equals 4. And the period is always going to be 2 pi until next. Well, I'm going to wear the same sweatshirt and record it in a second, but you're not going to watch it yet. So it's 2 pi for this lesson. So I'm going to put a little asterisk over here by the amplitude and put the explanation down here. Hold on. I said that wrong. Listen, I taught 9th grade science. Almost 10 years ago now. Maybe a little late, 8 years ago. Distance can be negative, I think, but it's like direction can be negative, but distance is always positive or something like that. So amplitude is just the distance between the midline and the highest point and the midline and the lowest point. Like this is 4, this is also 4. It's not -4 down here. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I said it right. So when I draw my graph, I need to be able to go up to 4 and actually up to 5 because that's my highest point. Like that. Again, the fourth one's going to be 2 pi. I don't want to deal with changing it. Okay, so up at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Look at that. That's my midline. A 1 up from that is at 5. Now, here's the tricky part. Sine. Sine starts at 0 and goes up, but this is a negative sign. So it's actually going to start at 0 and come down. So it's going to be flipped over from normal. So normally I would go like this. Now it's going to go like this. Okay. It's negligible, but like it's fine. Okay. So at 2 pi, I'm going to restart. So that's the same point. In the middle, it's the middle. And then at 1 after, it's going to be the lowest point. And at this one, it's going to be the highest point. It's going to be opposite from what it was before it's flipped over. Gosh, I hope you guys watch these freaking videos because otherwise you're going to be at home like, what just happened? I know you don't. Listen, it's YouTube. I have the analytics from it. I know you don't watch my videos, but good gravy, I wish you would. No, there's 6 of you. Now, YouTube analytics doesn't tell me who watches the videos, but I know you watch the videos. How about this? If you watch the videos, somewhere on the final, I want to give you extra points somehow. In your name on the final, if you watch my videos, put a checkbox next to your name. I'm going to forget this. I have to write this down. Okay, that's on the final. I have it written down. Email me if I forget and I'll give you a bonus point somewhere. Don't tell anybody. Okay. Anyways, so this comes down. So it flips the graph over rather than changing the amplitude. Okay. Y'all, we're gonna do this a little bit more in the next video. So if you're still confused, hang on tight. We're gonna be good. We're gonna do period and phase shifts in just a little bit. But I want you to get used to this. So do the practice and maybe do that one. Goodbye.